I literally can't stop eating this. So happy Valentine's Day, or happy almost Valentine's Day. If food is your love language, and it's mine, you are going to want to try something a little different. Maybe challenge yourself and do a homemade ravioli. That's what I have here. So little adorable heart-shaped raviolis made with a butternut squash and goat cheese filling. It's amazing. This is actually probably one of the best pasta dishes I've ever made. Just so everybody knows that. But it's got pancetta, fig, fried thyme, brown butter. There's an awesome cocktail too. We've got basically a chocolate covered cherry in a glass. And it's got whiskey for the dudes or awesome girls who are cool enough to drink whiskey. One day I'll be a part of your club. Let's get started. Hello, my ragtime girl. Yeah. So at some point in the night, you're gonna find yourself looking for something sweet, and it can be this drink. So we're gonna do a whiskey-based cocktail. We have a chocolate-flavored whiskey, which I think is cool. We have a maraschino liqueur. We have orange bitters and black walnut bitters. You don't have to have the black walnut bitters. I collect bitters. I don't know how or why, but I have them. So you can do both. And then we're gonna garnish with a chocolate covered cherry and an orange peel. All right, so let's get started. This is all alcohol, so we are going to stir it, not shake it. So 2 ounces of your chocolate flavored bourbon or whiskey. There's a couple of different brands. Also, I found that with this particular brand, Valentines, they have like a chocolate walnut one. Get the chocolate, straight chocolate. They also have a chocolate covered cherry. Just get the chocolate. Just get chocolate. And then this is a straight up cherry liqueur, which, you know, it's one of those random alcohols that I find myself with, but I'm always happy when I get to come up with a cool cocktail. So 1 ounce of that in there. We are going to do a few dashes of orange bitters and a few of the black walnut bitters in there. And then we're gonna put ice in our mixing glass. Fill it up. There we go. And then take our bar spoon and just get to stirring. I love that sound all the way around. I don't know why. So you wanna stir this like, I don't know, 40 times. I know that sounds weird to be so specific, but you want the ice to dilute that liquor a little bit, because ice, like water, will actually open up that flavor a little bit more. Move away for measure. Also, you just want it really cold. All right, so we got a coupe glass, and we're gonna strain it right in there. Ooh, looks good. And I'm gonna take my orange zest, and I have a vegetable peeler, and I'm just gonna go right down the side and just take a big old piece off. I'm gonna cut this a little bit so it looks nice and even. Ooh, looks good. And then if you can, just like squeeze it a little bit over, if you can do it without breaking, over your Manhattan. And then I'm gonna take I'm not in love with this, like I tore it apart like an animal. I'm gonna try this again. You wanna get enough of a peel, or enough of that pith. I know that sounds weird, pith. So that it doesn't completely fall apart, like a piece like that. And then I've got my little skewer, and I'm gonna do 1 in here. And then I've got my chocolate covered cherry. So it's like a little dessert and a drink. Be very careful with this. In fact, I'm just gonna put this on the ground. There we go. These are tough. Ugh. There it is. And then, as I struggle with this, Oh my God, you guys. There it is. Okay, pour it right over and then set it right on top. Whoop, just like so. Ooh, there we go. And there it is, the My Valentine Manhattan. I'm gonna drink it now.
Take a sip.
Can I take a sip? Mm-hmm. Ooh, it's like, I can smell the orange. Which, by the way, for orange people, like people who really care about oranges, this is a Cara orange, which is the best kind of orange. Cara.
Woo woo.
Take a sip.
We totally haven't been drinking margaritas.
That's delicious. Okay, so the hardest part about making pasta for me is actually making the dough, and that's, you'll see as I do this. But it's really easy. The more you do it, the better you get at it. So we're gonna do this right now. We're gonna do 2 cups of flour right in the middle of our little station, and we're gonna get flour everywhere. Don't worry about it. You're gonna need that later.
The messier, the better.
The messier, the better, yeah. It doesn't have to be perfect. So you do a nice little pile, and you're gonna make your little nest right in the middle. You wanna hit bedrock here, so you get a nice hole. You're gonna do 3 eggs right in the middle.
No shells.
No shells. Look at that, shell-free, like a professional. Every now and again, man. For me, I don't know about when you guys were doing your pasta, but for me, there's always this moment when I'm making the dough where I'm like, is that enough liquid? And I like panic, and I'm just like, it's not. Oh no, fortify your defenses here. See, there's always a weird moment. Okay, so 3 eggs, 2 cups of all-purpose flour. You can also use semolina flour if you want to do half and half, but all-purpose works really well. And I'm gonna do a teaspoon of salt right in the middle. So from here, as you get flour prints everywhere, take a little fork and I just kind of like gently, depending on how big my little, I should have made this wider. Note to self, when you do this, make your little base a little wider, and you just go through and just kind of like gently scramble these eggs and start pulling in flour from the surrounding wall. Yeah, it's gonna make a mess. Look at that, just pulling it in.
I mean, as you know, Matt was in charge of the pasta, so.
Oh, did he do all that?
I mean, he's, and I just help with flattening or going through the machine.
Oh, so he did the dough part.
Yeah, because he's better at that. I'm like you, I second guess myself and can't, and he's like, no, it's the process.
Just trust the process, right?
Yeah.
So I always have my bench scraper with me, and that'll help me like kind of wrangle things. But just get your hands eventually, and you're just gonna start like getting in there. Ooh, you also want to do a tablespoon of olive oil in there as well. See, you can mess it up and add more things later, just like that. And then start adding it in. Just getting a little dough. There's always, you're gonna see a point in my face where I'm like, ooh, did I do enough? Every single time, it never fails. But this is great because it'll scrape up all the doughy bits off the bottom. So Vanessa and I were just having a talk about like, is it worth it to always do homemade pasta? Yeah, right? Yeah, if you have time, like, and you're just like off all day and you're just like, I'm gonna make all the pasta for the next month, and yeah.
Well, yeah, because you can make it in advance and dry it, and then just.
But who?
Dry it, or can you freeze it or no?
You can freeze it. I think you can freeze it before you cook. Obviously, before you cook it. Like I was telling her, see, like this is the point now where there's a lot of dry, and this is getting dry, and I start to go, is that enough? Anyways, it's enough. That's the point of that story. So here, you just want to keep kneading it and grabbing up all of your little dry bits. And you'll see it'll all start, see, this is the panic moment. I can feel it, it's happening, but I'm gonna trust.
It's cracking, what's happening?
I'm like, why isn't this all absorbed at this point? And the reality is, it's just not time yet. I'm just gonna trust the process. Look at me, trusting the process. Yeah, I don't know, I find, I don't often make homemade pasta at home, but I do make gnocchi at home. And to me, that's like super easy though. It's like you roll it into a snake and then you cut it up and then that's it.
It's potato, right?
It's a potato dough.
Oh.
Yeah, so like you boil your potatoes. See, look, it's all coming together. It's all coming together. Scrape it up. And you're just gonna knead this for 10 minutes until it's nice and smooth. We're not gonna make you watch that, so we'll meet you back whenever this is done kneading. So we wanted to show you, we're about halfway through kneading this, and I wanted to show you what the dough looks like, which is it's nice and pliable. All my panic is gone, all my little dry pieces came up. But also, if you're new to kneading, I also wanted to show you what that looks like. So you're gonna take the heel of your hand and you wanna push it away and then pull it back, and then do the next side, heel, push away, pull back, just all the way through. Does that make sense? Just keep doing that. You can also, if you are smart, use your stand mixer with a dough hook and just let it go around and do it for you. You have to do it. But this is a nice workout. It really gets the traps. Delts, what are these things?
Delts.
Yeah, I feel really, really strong.
Delty.
All right, so we'll be back whenever this is fully done. Oh, we are done kneading. It's been 10 minutes, 10 whole minutes of doing this. Awesome. And our dough feels nice and like
Thumbprinty.
pliable, yeah, like kind of like a little like Play-Doh. So we're gonna take it, you're gonna roll it into a little ball, just like this, like just make little circles. And we're gonna get a little bit of olive oil, rub it all over,
Looks like
little
a
snack,
bald head.
little bald head. And then we're gonna saran wrap, and we're gonna let it sit for an entire hour. One whole hour.
Yay, I can't wait.
We're gonna let these little, so even though this is nice and pliable, that hour rest is gonna let the gluten get really nice and soft. So you can actually stretch it out without breaking it. So yeah, we are gonna show you, we'll be back showing you how to do the filling. All right, so pasta filling. This is kind of the best part about making ravioli, because you can literally do whatever you want. As long as it tastes good, when you mix it, it's gonna taste good wrapped in dough. I am doing a butternut squash and goat cheese filling. I've got fresh, I've got dried figs. We're gonna do a little bit of breadcrumb. I went ahead and cubed up butternut squash, roasted them for about 45 minutes till they get nice and soft, and we're just gonna use our food processor to blend it all up. And we will have the recipe in the box below, I guess. Is that how they say it? Is that how the YouTubers say it? Okay, so goat cheese, butternut squash into the food processor.
Description.
And the description, there we go. I just gotta practice more with my YouTubes. All right, so we've got butternut squash, goat cheese. We're gonna do about 4 dried figs. I just kind of chopped them up. I know it sounds weird, but you're gonna like it. We're gonna do half a cup of panko or breadcrumb, whichever you wanna do. I like panko. We're gonna do a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, or however much you can handle, because some people don't like nutmeg. And then I like to do a little bit of cayenne pepper because we're doing nutmeg and fig, which is sweet. Butternut squash is sweet. So this will kind of counteract that a little bit, just like a dash. And then a little bit of salt and pepper. And 1 whole egg. And I'm gonna crack it in the bowl because for some reason, I have a feeling I'm gonna break it and it's gonna go everywhere and I'm gonna feel really dumb. Okay, good. Because if the shell gets in there, that's it. I'm not redoing it. I'm not redoing it. That's it. You're gonna have shelvioli. Weird. Okay, so we're just gonna blend this till it's smooth, or combined. It doesn't have to be perfectly smooth. Ooh! That looks good. So it doesn't have to be totally smooth. If you can take a look at that, can you kind of see that? So it's not like there's still pieces of fig in there, and that's okay. You don't want it. You still want to have some texture with it. That's it. That's the filling. We did it. Oh no, I'm missing one thing. Right there, right in front of my face. You guys keep me honest. Okay, so half a cup of Parmesan cheese. It's the best part, and I almost forgot it. Like a fool. All right, let's try this again. Okay, so from here, go ahead and give it a taste, and then adjust your seasonings based off what you need. That's really good. You want to try it?
I mean, I'm going to.
I'm gonna make her try it in a minute.
Yes.
That's really good. Okay, so that's the filling. That's it. At this point, we are going to roll out our dough and then we'll start filling. You are about to watch me roll out pasta dough, which I have not done in years, but once you've done it once, you can do it again. So we've let our dough rest for an hour, and you can tell, Vanessa was asking me, how do you know it's rested? And it's hard to describe, but if you kneaded your dough by hand, you can kind of feel the tension. Not like it's had a bad day and everything's really tense, but I mean, as you're rolling it out, you can feel it it'll contract back fast. And with this, when I push it, it just like stays where I push it, if that makes sense. So that's how you know it's done. So I'm gonna unroll it, or unwrap it. I'm gonna cut it in half. Like, I don't know if you can tell, but like you can see even me just like putting it somewhere, it's just like it's just relaxed. So we're gonna do one at a time. I like to start, so we're gonna use, by the way, I don't know if you have a pasta machine like this, it's got little numbers. We're gonna progressively make it smaller and smaller. This thing was like 20 bucks at TJ Maxx or Ross or one of those places, and it's awesome. But I like to start out with an already sort of flat piece, if that makes sense. And I'm gonna start on the one setting and I'm just gonna roll it through. Ooh, before I do that and before you do it, you are going to flour your machine.
I was gonna say.
Woo, it's been a minute. You are literally watching me like remember how to make ravioli. I remember why I don't make it that often. It's a labor of love. That's why we do it for special occasions. This is not something that you just make for anybody. This is for somebody you love. Period.
That's why Italians are so full of love.
So the first pass, do you see how it gets kind of tapers on the end? So I'll take it and I'll fold it over. Just kind of square it off and I'll roll it through again. Same setting, still do it on the one. Still do it on the ones, actually. There we go. Yeah, this is like the reason I wanted to do ravioli, and this is gonna sound really weird, but this is how I knew Chase liked me, which is my husband. In case anyone who doesn't watch often doesn't know that. I'm gonna keep doing it on the one to kind of get it smooth. I was doing a New Year's Eve dinner, and just like this was like 8 or 9 years ago, and little baby Meg was like, I'm gonna do handmade ravioli for everybody. Not for everybody, for like one of the dishes. And I'm gonna click it up to 2 while I'm telling the story. And I got in the weeds, got way over my head, and he was just he was just helping me prep. But he stayed literally all night, 2 feet from me, with the big prep table in front of him, and just like handmade ravioli all night. And I was like, I think he likes me, you guys. I just thought that was so cool. I was like so flattered that he stayed. So I'm gonna keep rolling it on the 2 all the way through. And as you roll it in, you can kind of like, you grab it and kind of feed it back out. That makes sense. I'm gonna try something that I've seen people do. I'm gonna click it to a 3. This is getting a little bit long on this end. See how it's getting kind of fat on that end? I kind of want to I'll figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out with you. I've seen people do this where they like can make it one long continuous like feed loop. I'm gonna try this.
Oh.
Yeah, where you feed it in and then it's one big pasta loop, and then you can like, we're gonna learn together. That's the best part about playing in the kitchen, is like, if you mess it up, it's still gonna, you can always fix it. It's gonna be good.
It did it.
It did it. And so now you can just kind of take it and just keep
Make it thinner and thinner.
thinner and thinner and thinner. It's kind of weird at that. Okay, lesson learned on that. It kind of got weird, but whatever. I'm gonna cut it off anyways. Yeah.
What do you have in this pot, Meg?
That is water. I'm getting salted water. I'm gonna skip to a 5. I kind of skip numbers just to like save time. Also, it's helpful
That
if you have like a friend that can like hold it for you while you just keep doing it.
Perfect for like lasagna.
Or yeah, lasagna too. Oh, girl. It's too much. Girl, it's too much. But yeah, look at this. Look, we're just continuously feeding. And it's looking beautiful. You want to get this to like an 8 or a 9 on your pasta machine to where it's pretty thin. So the thing about these doughs is you think this is thin, it's going to double in size in the water when you boil it, and it can turn into a dumpling real quick. So at this point, I'm going to click 2. I am at a 7. 7. I know this is boring. Just you're gonna cut this down, right? It's fine.
Well, do you want me to go ahead and cut right now?
No, I say just keep filming it, and then
just fast forward.
You'll just fast forward it. So keep going. Look at this entire sheet, right?
What is it reminding me of?
Taffy.
Like a scarf or something.
Yeah, it's a pasta scarf.
Oh my gosh, the dream.
The dream, just eat it.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this. All right, we're almost to, I'm at a 9. This is the thinnest it's gonna get. This is my last pass. I think this is good. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click it back to, if you're paying attention, you guys, click it back to 1. I'm gonna give this a cut, a little choppy chop. Oh.
A little bit of wood with that.
Yep. Go backwards. Woo-wee. Look at her.
That is a pasta scarf.
That's a sheet. It's quite the sheet you have there. Okay, now you have all of your crazy long pasta. Just like this. Very comfortable, very competent. I'm gonna go ahead and boop, get that cut. I've got a floured surface. Now you can opt to do regular raviolis, but you know what? It's a special occasion, so let's make it special. I've just got a cookie cutter, and I'm just gonna start doing little shapes. I'm gonna do as many of these as I can, because you can't really redo this pasta. I mean, you can try, you might have to add a little more oil or water to it. It just, at this point, it's so thin, it's really hard to reshape it. So I'm gonna try and squeeze as many little hearts as I can out of here. And remember, each ravioli is gonna need 2 halves of the heart.
2 halves.
2 halves. Okay, so let me show you really quickly before I get into more of this. I just wanna show you a couple of these raviolis, and then I will do the rest so you don't have to watch me, BS with Vanessa, even though that's the best part, with all of these things. Ooh, you know what else I really like? Just let's talk about things that I love. Is whenever I'm doing cookie cutting or this kind of thing, and if I can get like right to the line and just get as many cookies out of one sheet of dough, I'm just like, yes. It's like
goals achieved.
It's like one of those like weirdly satisfying cook things. I don't know how else to describe it. One more. Okay, so we're hoping this isn't going to, bane of my existence. My little cookie cutter is not perfectly even. That's okay. We're gonna go with it. So just pull these little shapes out, be gentle. Be gentle. Yeah, this is definitely a labor of love, I think. I'm gonna save these little pieces and I'm gonna boil them anyways, like little pieces of pasta, I don't care. Because you made that pasta dough, don't waste it. You could always opt to do a couple of hearts if you're just like, yeah, I don't want to do a whole plate of hearts. Do a couple of ravioli hearts and then make your other sheet like just regular raviolis.
Put the hearts on top.
And put the hearts on top, yeah. Like put your showpieces on top, right? Yeah, I might just do that.
See, and I would take all of that scrap and I would make weird noodles.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just make your own weird noodles with this. Okay, so I'm gonna deal with y'all later. But let's just do a couple of raviolis so y'all can see what this looks like. Okay.
You might want to hold one up too so they can see. It's kind of hard with the wood.
Oh, totally, yeah, I'll do that. I'm gonna make a little bit of egg wash. So see I've got perfect little hearts. And so what I'm gonna do is I've got my filling. Thank you. I'm gonna do about a tablespoon of water into my egg to make an egg wash. because that's what we're going to use to like keep those hearts closed while we're boiling it. Oh, it's on. This whole time I'm just clicking it. Okay, so we've got my filling. I'm going to do a little bit, about a teaspoon of filling right in the middle. You can kind of let it go up the sides because it's a heart, you know. You've got room for all of that, but keep it away from your sides, if that makes sense. When I say let it go up the sides, I mean like up the heart part of it. All right, fill one side and leave the other one bare. A little bit in there. And I know there's like all kinds of fancy equipment now where people like, there's like a ravioli filler and then you just put it on top and it like makes it super easy.
Is there like a pipe thing you could buy?
Like a piping bag? The piping bag wouldn't help because you'd still have to like hold it down. And what they have though, it's called a like ravioli filler. So it looks like an ice cube tray and you just lay your sheet on top and then you just put your filling and then you lay another sheet on top and you just kind of cuts it for you. Yeah, no, it's cool. So I've got, so I'm gonna take my, will you grab me that spider from upstairs? It's like not a spider. It's like a little strainer for like boiled stuff. Oh. So egg wash, I take my finger and I'm just gonna go around the edges, just like so. I wish you guys could see this up close, sorry. I'll make Vanessa do a close-up shot. Just like this. And then you're gonna take your little piece, stick it right on top. And what you want to do is you wanna press the air, get it away, like go around your filling so that you're not leaving a lot of air inside of that pasta. And so it still kind of looks like a heart. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's perfect, the big one. So yeah, around the edges, I go around the edge, and then I'm gonna take a fork, I use the same one, and I'm just gonna crimp the edges of my ravioli. We're definitely gonna have to get a close-up of this, by the way.
Yeah.
Cute, right?
Stay alive. Valentine ravioli.
Seriously, losing it. If this doesn't come out perfectly, I will throw myself off a bridge. I hope you're all prepared for that. Prepare to watch that next video. And I just want to crimp the edges. Ooh. I will say this filling though, like, damn. You could put that on anything. I'd be into it. Ah, look at that. Look at her.
Bless her heart.
Bless her little heart. So you want to egg wash all the way around. I'm going to do this one too. Whoop. Don't be shy with that egg wash. All the way around, and then grab your top piece, kind of push that in the middle. And do you see how I'm like going around the filling first to make sure there are no air bubbles in there? See, I want to smush that out. I want to make sure I'm smushing the filling into the right space. Do the next one.
Looks like a little butt.
Oh, you mean like the heart? Yep.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like with the filling. I was like, what? So go all the way around and then get your fork and you want to crimp to make sure it's nice and shut. Ooh, don't you dare. Get out of here. All the way around. All the way. Do you see why people now use this thing? Mm-hmm. That's why.
Because this be hard.
Yeah. But it's freaking cool.
It's so cute. It looks like patchwork.
Yeah.
Like a little quilt.
And it's Valentine's Day. Look at that little baby. Okay, last step. Well, you went ahead and filled our pasta. We boiled it. It takes salty, boiling water. You put it in there, it floats. You take it out. It takes like 10 seconds with fresh pasta. So these are all nice and cooked. Usually when I'm at home, I will do this on one part of the stove and then make my sauce on the other part. But since this is a little bit of a different situation, we are going to do a pancetta thyme sauce with our ravioli. And we're also going to add in some dry figs because I think fig is a really interesting filling choice. And when it comes to something that people wouldn't expect, I always like to have a bigger piece in the sauce so they're not surprised, you know? So I'm gonna get my pancetta cooked down and get it nice and crispy. That's gonna be a whole minute for that to happen. So we're just gonna hang out while that happens. We're also gonna do some brown butter with it. And by brown butter, I mean I'm just gonna take butter and let it get nice and toasty in there. And then I'm also gonna crisp up some breadcrumbs in that sauce. But while we're waiting on our pancetta, which is basically fancy bacon, so if you have bacon, you can do that too. I'm gonna take about 3 figs. I'm gonna cut off their little end, that little hard piece, just like this. And then I'm gonna slice it up. Yeah. Add a little bit of oil to this pan. I mean, I know we're gonna add butter, but this will help the little pancetta crisp up, little babies. Whew. All right, let's keep slicing my little figs. Little figgies. You can use any sort of green herb that you have. I have a lot of thyme. I've got a lot of thyme. I had thyme on hand. You can use whatever you have. I'm gonna go ahead and throw in some breadcrumbs, like a small handful. And it's gonna soak up all of that pancetta fat, which sounds gross, but also sounds delicious. Put that in there. I'm gonna let those toast. Wish I had, there we go. And then I've got a bowl. Are you getting really hungry? I'm getting very hungry, by the way. Smells really good. Yeah, it does. Okay, so before those get all burnt, you don't want them to get burnt. You just want them to get toasty. I'm gonna push that in there. I'm gonna make a mess. I'm doing it. Making a big old mess. I'm gonna dry towel and kind of clean this out, and I'm gonna use the same pan. I'm gonna brown that butter. This is about 4 tablespoons of butter, which is a half a stick. Cool your jets, butter. It's already getting pretty. Got a nice color. I'm gonna turn this pan down. It's really thin. Make sure it doesn't get too smoky in here. Worried about that. You can strip this, but I'm just gonna take this thyme whole and just put it in there. Woo! Woo, just like that. So it's gonna kind of fry that thyme in the butter. My mouth is watering. Like,
I love that butter smell.
yeah. Well, you're smelling the bacon, like the pancetta. I say bacon. Yeah. Okay, so from here, I'm gonna take my beautifully already cooked raviolis. Raviolis. I'm gonna put them in there. I'm gonna layer them into the pan. They're pretty tough. Like, they're surprisingly tough. Like, they're not tough, like, bad to eat. They're just like, they're not gonna fall apart if you toss them in with the sauce.
Show them a heart one done.
Oh yeah, so I showed you the rectangular ones, but like, look at the little heart ones. Can you see? Sorry, these are like slippery little suckers. Yeah, we've got several of them. That got a little warped, but like, cute. Little hearts. I think it's a fun surprise. Plus, it's a labor of love, for sure. So we're gonna let these get all crispy. Not crispy, but like kind of get a little color on them.
So are you frying them?
I mean, I'm not frying them. I'm basically tossing the ravioli in the butter sauce. So it's like, it's a sauce. You know, like instead of doing like a red sauce or an Alfredo, it's a brown butter sauce with fried thyme. And it is gonna give a little color on that ravioli, which is awesome. So I'm gonna add back in my breadcrumbs and the pancetta. Oh my God. This might be the best ravioli I've ever made. We'll give it a little toss.
It smells so good.
I wish I'd gotten tongs. Sorry, Vanessa, she's just like hustling. And then once that's heated through, I'm gonna go ahead and add my delicious figs and just let those warm up. And that's it. It's a really simple sauce. I feel like, you know, ravioli is a very complicated process, only in that there are so many steps that take time, like rolling out the dough takes time, letting it sit takes time, rolling it out again takes time, but once you get that all together, I mean, the end product is perfect. Do you have a plate for these bad boys?
Yes.
Or I guess a plate would be best. So yeah, once this is all, you can see this has that color, beautiful color in there. And what I like about the breadcrumb, and if you're gluten-free, you don't have to do that. Well, if you're gluten-free, you wouldn't be having pasta. But it's a little crunch with your delicious pasta. Okay, as soon as she gets a plate, we will plate it up and see what we're working with. That's it. That's it. Do this, make yourself a cocktail. You made dinner. Done and done. Done and done. Ooh, I should probably try this to see the salt content. I bet it's salty enough. I bet that pancetta is gonna be real salty. Salty in a good way. I'm gonna try this. Because that's the best part about being the cook is you get to try the food before everyone else. A little bit of salt. Just a little bit. Ooh, that like fig makes it sweet in a good way. My goodness. I'm very excited about this. Okay, cool. That's it. We're gonna plate this up. We're gonna save our little heart pieces for on top. And when
How many would you put on a portion?
I think a good portion is like 5 or 6, honestly.
Okay.
It's a lot. I mean, I think six is a good amount. Once you fry that this thyme, it'll just come apart and you can just sprinkle it right on top. Nice and fried. And then we're gonna do the hearts on top with a little bit of our fig and pancetta. This looks really good. Oh my
And
goodness.
this is why I've gained so much weight, everybody.
I blame you. Yeah, once that pandemic hit, I was like, so about bread and all of its friends.
I know.
You know what? I don't care. I don't care
I
anymore.
don't either.
So I like to take this and let's just do a little a fun little garnish on it.
Wow.
Wow.
Caught her eating one.
Yeah, this is really good.